Hello, everybody, and welcome back to M&J Games. I am Michael, and today I am joined by none other than the famous, most famous YouTuber, Iron Matty. How you doing, buddy?
Hello, most famous YouTuber. I'm not sure about that. I sense lies. I don't, not
No, it's
quite. I
definitely
wish.
in in,
I
in,
wish.
in my
Not
mind
not
the
as
most
big as you.
famous.
Not as big as you. I'm nowhere near as big as you guys. No, thank you ever so much for having me along. Pleasure to be back here once again. Always love doing these joint spotlights. Have such a blast. And I mean, Michael, what have you picked for us here? What is this park?
Yes, so this is called Explorland Spain, and Maddie, as you probably remember, we looked at the first park in the Explorland series, and I'm just calling it a series because I'm guessing this creator's going to make more of them. But this is the second park that he's called Explorland. His previous one was called Explorland Germany, and the link is below if you want to check out our review on that. But this has got, I believe, 7 coasters, and it is just a massive, massive park. And it's created by Now Then Fella, which is one of the greatest PlayStation names, usernames I've heard. But what are your first kind of thoughts and opinions, just kind of the overview that we're seeing of the park?
I'm not sure we're going to get this done in an hour. It's certainly a hefty park. I can fully remember the last park, the Germany version of this, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing definite vibes of that one transitioned over into this one, and that last park was sensational as well.
Absolutely.
That the steampunk area of that park was what kind of inspired me to start my Black Castiel series, which never ended up happening. Might do one day. We don't know. Watch this space. But yeah, excited to get into this. It looks ace.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're right here at the entrance, and we're gonna make it under an hour. It's gonna be tough, but this is a massive
Walk
park,
and
as you can
talk.
see.
Yeah.
Yes.
Walk and talk.
Yeah, right away. I mean, love the building style here in the entrance, and I mean they look to be all custom buildings, but it looks like probably the stucco, just colored differently. And I mean, this is awesome. This gives me almost like a kind of Hispanic vibe. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was kind of like just thinking along the same lines. I know it's called Exploring and Spain, but I'm kind of getting more Mexican, Morocco, kind
Mm-hmm.
of like almost a little bit Tunisia or something like that, kind of like
Yeah,
vibes as well. There seem to be a lot of different styles, but they're all complementing each other really well. And yeah, it looks fantastic. Some really nice style, and so I can already see elevation changes and
mm-hmm.
little things like that. So I'm already impressed just as we've come in straight away. I'm
Yeah,
liking this already.
absolutely. Now there were a couple things. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there were a couple creations in this park that were not by the creator, but the creator, or Now Then Fella, did credit the creators of it. Like I think the trees were made by NH99, and so I'll make sure and look at that in a second to kind of give you all the information of that. But this is called Tequila Falls. So yeah, this definitely feels more like a, like you said, kind of like a Mexican style. And is this a? Oh, it's a log flume. Okay. Um, so initially, I mean, this building is cool. Like it's really basic, but it's also like really fits the theme. You know?
Yeah, it does exactly what it needs to. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't need to be big and massive. It just fits the theme of what it needs to. I'm not
Ooh.
100% maybe sold on the colour. I think
Yeah.
maybe the colour is a little bit vibrant. I'd maybe just kind of like tone that down a little bit. But other than that, yeah, really nice job.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll go ahead and we'll do this at times 2 speed. But I love the roof here.
Hmm.
Um, just kind of that open look, and already, I mean, you talk about elevation changes, and I know it looks like you got some terrain there, but then you've also got a mixture of the rock pieces. And it's giving me kind of with those cactuses and stuff, kind of a very southwestern United States vibe too, like in Arizona or New Mexico style.
It feels very enclosed as
Mm-hmm.
well. It feels almost quite secluded. I mean, this obviously is taking part in the centre of the park. We're actually already kind of like deep into the heart of the park already. But you wouldn't think that being on this ride because you're so enclosed, which is really nice effect as well to kind of like have that secluded feel for this ride that's like actually in the centre. Oh, that's a nice sightline as well. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, great mixture of rocks around as well. There's a lot of different types of rocks that he's used and really mixed it up. So yeah, but a great job with this.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, look at the view here as you're about to go down probably like the main drop. I mean, that was just phenomenal.
It was
Um,
ruined by the water. I mean, that was just rude. I was trying to look at the nice sight line, and then there's a great big splash in the way. It's like, seriously, guys, come on.
yeah, and I think that was the end because it just, yeah, it goes up that little hill. But I mean, this area is just really cool. Oh, we got a little, is that an inverting mine train? What? Oh, never mind. Okay. From far away, it looked like the mine train coaster, and I was like, is that thing inverting?
I was going to say
Because
I didn't think the mine train could invert. You'd throw the guests out. You don't strap them in.
I know that's why I was so confused by that. But yeah, this is I mean, I do like this area. This is really really well done. And that's one thing too that I've looked at some of this creator's earlier parks as well. He does a really good job of kind of creating cool plazas where it's like the whole area's got one kind of big path going around it and a lot of kind of different, you know what I'm saying, a lot of connections in between, but it's the space
Yeah.
in between's filled up really well.
I mean, in the last spotlight that we did, we were complimenting Now Then Fella on the way that he was able to transition the areas as well.
Hmm.
Because Explorland Germany had the steampunk area, it had a Chinese, like Asian themed area, it had a Aztec themed area, and now we're coming to this one, and you can see there's like the same kind of thing again. There's lots of differing themes in this park, but all transitioned really well.
Yeah. So this looks like it's called Balaam. And is it bad that I just want to remove that A and just call it Blam for some reason? Um, but I love the pinata and it's hanging from the tree. It's
So
a
that's
really
more of
cool
an
touch.
American thing, is it not? Like the whole pinata thing. We don't really kind of like do pinatas in the
Yeah, it's
UK.
definitely.
Really, it's just not something that we do. Is
Yeah.
pinata? Obviously, we know what it is, but it's never something. It's not like one of our traditions, so to speak.
How cool is this queue though? Like you go right by the
It's
launch.
Where does this go? How does? Oh, right. Okay. I was wondering at what point did this either go under or over. I didn't know how that was done. Yeah, that's
Uh,
really, really nice
and I'm
effect.
and I'm gonna geek out a little bit here with like, you know, I love the realism stuff. I
Oh
love
yes.
this, just the protection over the path, and then now you're down here. I mean, this is, and then you see the coaster kind of at a couple different spots. This is a really beautiful queue.
Some great ride interaction
Hmm.
going on with this
Oh, look
queue
at that.
line.
Whatever that building
It's
is.
such a simple queue as well, though. I mean, it's
Hmm.
only going up one way and then coming back on itself, but because of the way that he's integrated it into the ride, just absolutely amazing. Really
Oh,
good job with that.
we found something. We found a
What's
mistake.
that? What's that?
There's no railings here.
That's disgusting.
This guest right here could just run and try to jump on the coaster.
Can we stop the spotlight, please? Just I've had enough. This is disgusting. I do not expect this kind of substandard, inadequate building. This is no, not on your channel. Your channel's better than this. No,
No,
if that's one of the only things that we can find in an entire park, then we're going to be doing all right, aren't we?
what I love about these stations though is like the other one I agree, maybe the color a little bit different, but it's the exact same station as the other one, just changing the color. So it's
Mm.
like tying the whole area together. And you know, there's a couple details here and there that are different, but in terms of the general aesthetic of it, it's the exact same. And
I
so
would say
let's.
the colour works for this one, though.
Oh,
I
for
would say
sure
the
it
yellow
does.
works.
I really
I
like the
didn't think the
yellow.
green did. The green did, but I like the yellow. I think the yellow works really well.
Yeah. So there's the stats all green. So let's go ahead and take a ride on Balaam. All right, Maddie. So that was Balaam, and what are your thoughts on the coaster?
I mean, what do I say? It was absolutely brilliant. It
Mm-hmm.
was really, really nice coaster. I love the footprint that it takes up. I like the way that it's interacting with itself constantly, coming back and forth on itself. Kept up a great speed all the way around.
Yeah.
Brilliantly smoothed. I didn't find that there was a single part of that ride that I thought, oh, that could have just done with a little bit of smoothing or banking. For me, yeah, it was absolutely perfect. I think it was absolutely brilliant. Great job.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a great ride, and it's a deceivingly long coaster too. Like the footprint you talked about it takes up is pretty massive, and you got
Mm.
the because I believe this was another launch down here if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, so you got that double launch, which is kind of in a tunnel, which is cool to see. The only thing I would say is I think this part here, banked outward, is not realistic for this coaster type. But I understand why he did it because it kind of banks already into this turn. But I think it would have been cool to see a pretty quick bank to the left and then a pretty quick transition bank to the right. Because some of these kind of smaller launch coasters have those kind of quick transitions. But I mean, absolutely love the coaster. It's fantastic. Like you see that nice inversion there. Um, Top
It's
hat.
very visually pleasing
Mm-hmm.
as well. It's a
For
very
sure.
visually pleasing coaster, and it's like visually pleasing in quite a basic sense as well, with just the terrain and the rocks and the foliage. So yeah, great job, now then, fella. Love it.
And how about
Really
this
nicely
building
done.
right here too?
That's
Like,
a in game one, just recolored.
oh, it is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to give him
Yeah.
more props than he deserved. No, I'm just kidding. This
Yeah,
is
it is one of the end-game blueprints, but he's just recolored it. But the way that he's recolored it really works as well, and it kind of goes with that pinata feel as well from the
Mm-hmm.
start, like
Yeah.
kind of the mix match. Oh my days, tongue words English, Matty. The
Yeah.
mix match of colours. There you go.
Yeah. Now, last thing I'll say here is I think also had a good mixture of kind of foliage and stuff. Because I think sometimes, when you're placing your own foliage, you kind of get so caught up on, oh, does that look good or is it overdone or that kind of thing. And to me, like this really works. And you've got a lot of different types of trees here. Like you got the beech tree, you've got the Marcella or whatever that's called. And then you've got these kind of pine trees. So there's a lot of different styles of trees, but it all kind of really works together and it's not overdone or not underdone. And it gives like, kind of good sight line, helps with the sight lines and stuff. But
Certainly an impressive first coaster to go on. That's for
mm-hmm.
certain. It's set a good benchmark moving forward for the rest of the park.
Oh,
So.
oh, look
Oh
at
wow, that
this.
station. We both saw that at the same time then, didn't we? Both of us were like, look at the station. It looks so good.
Yeah. Now this is called RB. So we'll see what that's just an abbreviation for something. I'm
Or is
sure it
that
is.
Rob? Or is it Rob? Do you think the tent was supposed to represent an O? Is it supposed to be Rob?
You know what? Let's see. Raging Bull.
Raging.
No, not
Oh,
quite.
okay then. Oh, you can
Oh,
see
that would
where
have
I
been
was going
cool.
though with that
Yeah,
then.
I was about to
Yeah.
say that would have been a cool recognition. Nice little covering here, Q covering, and oh, that's a cool view. Having the coaster just kind of fly by. That was perfect timing.
He is very good at these interactive cues. Again, going
Yeah.
underneath the ride there as well. It's so nice to have these interactive cues
Mm-hmm.
where you're queuing for the ride and able to like kind of watch it whiz around you. And
Yeah.
it's very difficult to pull off as well. It's
Mm-hmm.
not easy doing that, intertwining a queue line around a pre-existing ride that you've already built. So yeah, props for
Gosh,
that.
this is such a cool like interior to the station, but you got so many different building styles here. I mean, just even having that as kind of that little roof right there, and then you've got almost like the prison bars, and then these scaffolding supports on top. Like this is really cool and unique.
This is a big step up from Explorland Germany.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that straight away. We're only 10-15 minutes into the video and already a substantial improvement over the Germany. And that was a good park,
Oh yeah,
mind as well.
I
So,
think what's really seen as a step up so far is a lot of the stations, and then I mean obviously the building too. The buildings in that park was outstanding, but like you said, I mean this is just kind of and it kind of showing how we all improve with each park we build, right? Um, so yeah.
I think, but don't 100% quote me on this, Michael. I think this is a PS4. I think this is a PS4 using the glitch on a PS4 because wasn't Explorer Germany a PS4 park,
No,
if
it's
I
actually
remember
a PS5.
rightly.
It's a PS5 park.
Was it? Are you sure? I thought we had
Mm-hmm.
the conversation at the end saying, "On my days, how did he pull this off on a PS4?" Or am I thinking of a different spotlight with?
I think you're thinking of a different spotlight. Now, I could be wrong too, but I do believe it was a PS5 park.
You know, we're both going to go back and watch that afterwards now, yeah.
Yeah, of
Once we've
course.
done the spotlight, we're both going back. But anyway, it's still amazing. Okay, if that's the case, if this is a PS5, then what I would like to see is the actual station floor decorated a little bit more. Then
Yeah.
change it up from the blue. If that is the case that this is a PS5, he's still got another 17% to play with.
Yeah.
So maybe just change the flooring on them stations from the default blue.
And one thing too, and I mean it's done on purpose, but I just kind of wonder kind of the reasoning behind it is I would like to see this part connected. That's just me. You know, I don't like seeing those extra
Oh, see,
supports, but
I,
I
I
think
like it.
you like that. Okay, that's just me
I
then.
like it. I actually think that gives a really, really cool effect.
Okay,
I
now then,
think that was
fella,
done
don't listen to me.
intentionally.
Oh, I know it was done intentionally, so just to kind of create something different. But hey, yeah, listen to Batty on that one. Don't listen to me. So,
Oh, let's listen to both. Just do half and half, and then you
oh,
appease both of us.
dude, you know what I just realized? Look at this, the
I,
cactus.
it's got lights in the cactus. What the hell? Do you
Oh,
know
that's
what?
amazing.
I bet many people wouldn't notice that.
Yeah, I mean that's one of those things that you do and like nobody will notice, but I mean it's that's a fantastic way to cover up the ugly light poles.
Yeah.
Oh my
There's no way
gosh.
we're keeping this spotlight under an hour. We
All right,
need to
we gotta
crack
get
on.
rolling.
But
Yep.
we need to get rolling. Let's do it. Let's go.
All right, we just got off Raging Bull, and I don't know about you, Maddie, but out of the two we've ridden so far, this has been my favorite. What are your thoughts on this coaster?
Wow. I don't know if I would say I would prefer it to the other one. I'd say it's very difficult to make a decision on that. I think both rides offer something very unique for their own respective things. I don't profess to be a coaster expert like yourself. I never have been. I just kind of have certain things I look out for. When it comes
Hmm.
to wooden coasters, I like to see the nice smooth banking. And I like to see the bunny hops. I like to see that consistent motion all the way through, keeping up a nice momentum. And for me, it ticked all them boxes. I think it was
Hmm.
brilliant. But to say it was as good as the other one is very difficult for me because they're both very different rides. So
Yeah,
I
that's
think
true.
they're both equally as good as each other for what they represent. So if you're going to ask me at the very end which was your favourite ride, it's going to be very hard for me to answer. But yeah, great job. Sorry for the long answer.
No, you're good. Yeah, I like this first little turnaround and some coaster knowledge. Little bunny hops, airtime hills.
Airtime Hill. Bunny Hop sounds cooler. All right.
Yeah. Well, you've got your different types of airtime hills. You got your floater airtime, which is more sustained, where your
Floater.
body floats in the air, or you got the ejector, which throws you out of your seat, and they're basically smaller, shorter airtime hills. But yeah, I mean, this was good. The banking, I
I
think.
stopped listening after you said floater. I'm sorry.
All right, enough of that. But yeah, so I think we're I think we're basically done with this area. I mean, other than looking in a little bit more detail, but we don't have the time for that. But yeah, I mean, this is a great area two really good coasters, two really smooth, really strong layout coasters. Really good job with the buildings. So now the question is, do we go to the right side or to the left
Just quickly,
side?
just before we move on, the I can't remember what that ride is called. I'm sorry. This big one that's
Sun.
like the big flat ride.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
yeah.
this one. Have you seen how he's done that with the Mexican flag? The way that he's coloured
Yep.
it.
That's a good point. I didn't even
Is
notice
is
that
that
before you said
is
it.
that Mexican? I'm sorry. I apologise if that I am wrong in my
Yeah,
flag knowledge.
I think you're correct on that.
Yeah, but I
That is
love
really
how he's
cool.
done that. And I think that's a really nice little nod, and again, just something that's very easily missable as well. So yeah, great job with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and once again, nice little queue area for this where you're really kind of tucked away and you have some good sight lines with it. You got some good queue covering. Good job. So now, Maddie, we're going this way to the looks like a little Asian inspired area, or this way to um,
Can we go this way
yeah.
purely because Asian themed is one of my favourite themes in the game? So I want to do that last because I love the Asian theme done in this game. When it's done well,
Mm-hmm.
it's so good. Like the Hero Academy that we did.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, that is a benchmark. So every one that I'm going to see now, I'm going to be comparing to that.
How amazing is this ride skin in this kind of station area for this magic carpet ride?
It is in such a simple way.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yes.
is nothing flashy or fancy. That is less than 100 pieces that has
Oh
probably
yeah.
done this ride skin, but it's absolutely brilliant. Really nicely done and in keeping with the theme of the ride itself.
Yeah. Oh, this is cool. Um, oh, it's just using one of those flags, I think. Yeah, that's just using a customizable hanging flag. So I've started using these kind of for queue coverings, where you can just
Hmm.
turn it, where you can just turn it to, you can change the image to um, like a color medium gray, and then you can put post on the side of it, and it creates kind of like a flag covering. Like at theme parks, sometimes you see flags kind
Okay.
of covering covering the queues and stuff, or like these kind of not necessarily flags, but they're kind of more um, instead of it being like a true roof, it's almost like a fabric or something that can kind of float in
Yeah.
the wind and stuff. But yeah, more like a tent. So that's something you could use. But my eyes are on this coaster over here because this looks awesome. That
I love
huge
how we
cobra roll.
approach the spotlight so differently. Me and Michael will approach our spotlight so different. Like Michael beelines for coasters. Like
Yep.
your eye line is just automatically drawn to a coaster, and there's me like kind of looking around at the foliage and the building work and everything, and you're like, oh, look at the
Coaster.
coaster, coaster.
Yeah. Or as
I
Maddie's
love how
like,
we just approach it differently.
yeah, I'm like coaster, and you're like water.
Water feature. It's like you
Yeah.
could put like the best coaster in front of me ever, but if there's a water feature in front of me, I'm like, look at the nice water feature.
Look how amazing this near miss is right here. How it goes back through the loop, because when it
Let me
went
have a
through the
look.
first time, we might have to wait for the other coaster car to come through, but it is literally like
Oh,
a near
that is
miss where
close.
that is
Anyway,
really cool.
yeah, that is
So I mean,
nice.
I just love the layout of this area and like all the buildings. Like you got these couple massive buildings to really help with the sight line, and then just the theming. And I mean, continuing this kind of path covering is really cool. Um,
Hmm.
I'm just so bad
So
at
again, it's
like,
like quite Morocco or Turkish as well, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, for sure. I'm just so bad with like theming like different kind of. I'm trying to wait for this coaster to see, but we'll get on the coaster. Um, But like this is really cool and inspiring. And then I mean I love the fact that there's not a fence here. There's just a lot of rocks, you know, just to kind of
Mm.
block the guests from essentially hopping into the coaster area. But this is awesome. And ooh, stand still.
See,
Look at
it's funny that Michael has just said that he doesn't he struggles with this kind of theming. Because just before we started filming this spotlight, Michael's just been showing me progress of the park that he's currently working on, and I've said to him that in his next park I want to see something completely different, completely out of his comfort zone. So maybe kind of like go for like kind of this kind of theming or something,
yeah,
like something completely outside the box,
yeah.
completely something that no one is going to recognize as Michael from M&J Games. And it's just funny that you've just said that because yeah, I can't wait for you to kind of like really step outside your comfort zone because I think you're going to be better than you think you are. I think you're going to smash it. You just need to try it, and I think you'll
Yeah.
absolutely nail it.
Yeah. Oh, I know it'll be okay. It's just a matter of having the confidence and figuring out how to get started. But I love this station, other than the fact it needs a fence going around it. But I absolutely love this station.
Agree.
Oh, this
Agree.
is so cool. And it's so like I mean, we've said this a lot, but like to me it's minimalistic, but that's not a bad thing, right? Like it's just saving on piece count and it's not overdoing it, but yet it still looks like really nice and just kind of majestic. Like especially when you're down this way looking at it from this direction, like you just see it kind of up on this hill and it's like, "Oh, that looks intimidating."
Now then,
um,
fella is really, really good at utilizing the pieces at his disposal. I actually filmed Mr. Snelders's Cape Driftwood earlier on, and I was actually saying in his spotlight. Now I know you've already done that spotlight with
mhm.
web gaming on your channel, but I was saying in that one how Mr. Snelders really, really utilizes the percentage at his disposal to like kind of get maximum effect. And I'm very much like kind of the same opinion of Now Then Fella as well. I mean, like, look, when you're looking over there, Michael, look how far this park actually goes. If you
Mhm.
just pan the, it goes on forever, and it's not even 100%.
Yeah, that's what's
This
amazing.
park is massive.
Absolutely amazing.
So
Um,
yeah. Anyway, sorry, I need to stop talking. Otherwise, this video is not under an hour. Shut up, Matty.
All right, so real quick look at the stats. We'll hop on the coaster. G-force is good, speed good. So, 7 inversions, 3 airtime count. Let's take a ride on Sandstorm. All right, Maddie, coming to you first on this one. Thoughts?
Great. Yeah, really nice coaster once again. I think there was one little inversion about halfway through. I trying to find it would be nigh on impossible because I couldn't pinpoint exactly where it was. Now it was before then, but there was one little inversion where I thought that might have been a little bit erratic. But other than that, every other inversion in the ride was brilliantly integrated. They were all the in-game inversions from the looks
Mm-hmm.
of it, but they were really nicely done. Great colouring of the ride, great theming, great job.
Yeah, I agree. And I'll talk about this more at the end, but I have two things that I would love to see from this creator next time. And one of them is I would like to see some custom inversions. Because, like you said, these are all in game, and the in game zero G rolls are super unrealistic. Like, you don't go up at that steep of an incline. Like, maybe, like, there's certain ones you maybe do, but so I'd like to see some of that. And then also some realism with, like, some transfer track maintenance type stuff because I just feel like we don't see enough of that on console, and I feel like this creator would do an amazing job with it. But yeah, I mean, love the coaster, love the scenery. Even though it's not much, it really is like a different kind of style and atmosphere because it truly feels like you're in a desert. And of course, station, absolutely love it. Um, let's head this way because now we've got Dune Dancer. So we had the Sandstorm and then the Dune Dancer, and ooh, look at that.
That's a real. Is that a in-game piece? I don't recognise
Fairy
that.
Tale Palace Archway.
Do you know what? I don't recognise that. Go
Me
figure.
neither. Yeah. I love this little kind of canopy here, or this little pergola, or whatever you want to call it. This covering is really cool. What pieces are used for that?
Oh, it's multiple. Looks like
Yeah.
kind of quite a few different
Oh,
ones.
it's a wood
No, it's not.
platform overhang.
Oh, right, okay. Never seen
So
them used in that manner before.
And I didn't know those were on a grid. That is really good to know. But yeah, I agree. I haven't seen them used like this either, but it looks really cool. And you got this window here, but you can't really see anything from the window, sadly. um, Once again, another station. I mean, look at that.
Sensational again, isn't it? The stations are so good.
And once again, it's not using a ton of pieces. Like, it's using the in-game pieces, but it's using them in a way where it makes them almost, I don't want to say unrecognizable, right? But it's in a way where it's like, oh, like it looks like it was something that this person actually created. And look at this doorway. Yeah. Look at that.
I mean, you say minimalistic, and I agree with you, but that in no way is an insult.
Oh yeah, yeah.
When
absolutely.
we say minimalistic, it's almost a compliment rather than a criticism because of how well you integrate and how good it looks. Minimalistic, but in the best possible way.
Absolutely.
You could do. Oh, I'm not sure about that first turn. Then just as we went round, I'll be interested to go on this ride because I was a little bit unsure as that ride came round. I thought, ooh, just the banking there seems a bit.
Yeah.
We'll see as we go on this, but
so it's another launch coaster, all green stats, which is great. G-forces look pretty good. Maybe those are getting a little bit high, but let's see. 3 inversions, 2 airtime count, and let's take a ride on Dune Racer. So we just got off, was it Dune Dancer? Yeah, Dune Dancer. Okay, I almost said Dune Racer. I mean, there's a couple areas of banking that I think were just banked the wrong way, but overall I loved it, and I would love to know if I'm correct on this. This looks to me like a Mac coaster, and it looks like it was inspired by, gosh, I forget the name of it. It's not the DC Rivals coaster, but there's one is it at Flamingo Land? I can't remember exactly where it's at, but it was the first ever Mac hyper coaster. And it's got that initial kind of turn on the first drop, and it's got a loop kind of like this, which technically is really cool. I don't know if you've noticed on this loop, this technically doesn't count as an inversion because you're never actually upside down, or you're never actually at 180 degrees where you're upside down because it twists you as you go up. So it's technically a non-inverting loop. But yeah, I mean, overall, really smooth, like the layout. Thoughts, Matty?
I think you summed up everything that I was thinking, to be honest. I kind of did feel that the banking may have been facing the wrong direction a couple of times. Like I alluded to just before we actually went onto the ride, there was just the odd 1 or 2 places where I thought it could have banked in the opposite direction. But I say that, the whole ride is super smooth. That is one consistent thing with every ride that we've been on so far, is the smoothness of every ride that we've been on. Now Then Fella is obviously extremely talented at going through his rides and smoothing them sufficiently from start to finish. And I don't think there's been a single point of any ride where I've thought that needs smoothing. So yeah, great job with that. I'm not 100% maybe sure if we need the 2 big coasters right next to each other. Maybe. Yeah. Because it's a lot of extreme in a kind of confined area, so to speak. I don't know.
I can see
maybe that's just me personally. I don't know, because they do complement each other at the same time. The gold and the white complement each other. So I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. Maybe I'm just being picky. But yeah, great job.
My rebuttal to that would be that technically these aren't too big coasters, because this one would be, to me, this is not a big coaster. That's a very average size coaster. But it's more on the extreme side from the sense of it's got more inversions.
You're
Um,
such an American.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
see,
yeah, yeah,
see,
yeah.
to us in the UK, that'd be massive. That'd be like kind of that would be the main attraction of a theme park in the UK. That would, and the big coasters that obviously you guys have in America, we don't really have them in the UK, so to speak.
Yeah.
Not on that kind of scale,
If you
really.
if you go to
Maybe I'm
see
going
the
to build one. When I
yeah,
become a big famous YouTuber, I'm gonna create my own theme park.
yeah. When if you go to Cedar Point, this would probably be like the eighth tallest coaster at Cedar Point.
Oh,
Um,
really? Wow.
yeah, I mean I could be exaggerating on that, but it's definitely is at Cedar Point. You got a 400 foot, you got a 300 foot, you got two that are in the 200s, actually three that are in the 200s, and then a couple that are in the mid 100s. So
See, in the UK, we have some very strange laws. Now,
yeah,
obviously, of course, you built Avery Forest with Corey from Web Gaming, so you're fully aware of a lot of the restrictions that we have in
hmm
the UK on our theme parks. Things such as you can't build over a tree height limit. I mean, what kind of... I can't swear in a video, so what kind of nonsense is that? I'm going to sound very British. What kind of nonsense is that? I mean, you can't build over a tree line. It's a theme park. I mean,
yeah.
come on. So yeah, because of these restrictions, we don't have the kind of coasters that you guys have in America. So yeah, whatever. Anyway, rant over. I love that. I
Do you
love
notice
this.
these little windows just slightly open?
Yeah, brilliant fact.
Is that
Is that a waffle piece? Oh no, it is a window. I thought it was
That's
like
an
a
actual
waffle
window.
or something.
Yeah, it's yeah, that's really cool. It's funny there how you talked about I'm gonna sound really British, and then even though you obviously sound British to begin with, you tried to sound even more British for a second. When you're talking about
Do I sound more British than my normal British?
you did for like a split second. It sounded like you were trying to sound more British.
Like posh British.
Yeah, I have no
Like
idea. It
drinking
just
my
was funny
tea
to me.
British.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just funny how they.
Like Mary Poppins. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
Yep.
Anyway, let's get back to this video, shall we? And stop talking about my stupid British accent.
Yep.
Oh,
Look
wow.
at this.
Wow. Wow. What feature?
Yes. Now we'll focus on the water feature for you, Matty.
Yeah, I don't
Look at
want
this.
to look at the coasters. I don't want to see
No
coasters. I want
coasters.
to see... It's beautiful. That is, do you know what? That is absolutely stunning. And what's really kind of like taking my breath away is the buildings around the outside
yeah.
as well. It feels so Japan as well. It's just stunning. I love that.
Yeah.
That's my favourite thing in the park so far.
I was expecting that. And then we got a little kids coaster here, and oh, look at this cube. I mean, it's like right away, it's
that's
like, oh,
cool.
kids coaster, you can't really do too much. But then you've got this little walk down area that automatically kind of adds a little bit of depth to just this little area. Yeah, I mean, I love these buildings. Everywhere you look in this section are just beautifully done buildings, and I love how the color's different than how you normally see them built. Like, I feel like you normally don't see the gray and black, but I think it really works well.
It works fantastically, actually. As I said earlier on in the spotlight, the Hero Academy by TJ Puffs and Mavs Fan 4 is the benchmark for these types of parks. Are we just going to talk as we go through this one, are we?
Yeah, it's just small.
Yeah,
small
it's a
coaster.
kiddie coaster, it'll be fine. Yeah, I believe that is kind of like the benchmark for this kind of theming of a park, but already, I mean, we've only just kind of like come into this area, and this is sensational. It offers something very different to Hero Academy, but equally as good. It's really, really nice. I love it.
Yeah, I got the camera a little messed up there because I saw the tongue hanging down. And it was like, ooh.
I'm not going to even say what that looks like.
No. Yep. So I think those trees that you're seeing to the left were created by NH99, in his Asian park, I believe, maybe. But
I
nice
think
little,
you're right, yeah.
nice little coaster.
Yeah,
Nice little family
great job.
coaster.
It did what it needed to, didn't it?
Yeah. And good job with the rocks and all the foliage around. And Maddie, your second favorite thing, terrain paint.
Of course. terrain paint and water features. This is
Yeah.
my favourite park ever.
I'm surprised you hadn't mentioned terrain paint yet.
I
Um,
know, there was just that many things in this park to mention, to be fair. I mean, it's such a good park, it was kind of like just a given,
Look how
really.
beautiful these
Yeah,
trees are. Yeah,
fantastic.
so I think these were the ones that were created by NH99, and it's just climbing roses. It's like if you look at that, um, I think this is just the. Oh, so let me click on it.
No,
Yeah,
it was doing, yeah.
so it's just a dry dead tree, and then you've got these roses that are normally green colored, but just colored pink, kind of put on the limbs to make it look more full. Um, I mean, just really cool, kind of manipulating the pieces in the game, right?
Thinking outside the box, using the in-game pieces to create things that we don't have. So yeah, great job by NH with that. Really nicely done.
We got a little security camera right there,
Oh yeah,
kind of
realism.
blending in. Yep, there we go. And I love these lights too, with the dragon's head kind of holding up the lamppost. And I just love these colors. This is such a cool color to use for this style. So unique.
Very
Awesome.
different as well to what we normally see in a Asian theme as well. You're normally used to seeing the reds and the yellows.
Mm-hmm.
You're not really used to seeing kind of like the grey.
Yeah.
The grey and the charcoal kind of colour. So yeah, really nice.
All right. So how do we pronounce this? Maritasu.
I'm going to say you're right. Yeah, why not? I'll do.
We'll go with that. Once
we'll go with
again, once again, look at this queue. Just very peaceful. It's like, be peaceful, relax, and then all of a sudden get on a 300-foot coaster.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's very tranquil and picturesque, and it's just, yeah, stunning. I love it.
And then you got even just the little detail of this centerpiece in the station. And then you got the lights too. So we definitely need to do a night check at the end. Ooh, it's blue.
Oh, the people look a bit terrifying in that colour. That looks well scary. Put it back today. Put it back today.
Especially that guy right there. Woo.
No, that's too scary.
All right.
That's better.
Yeah, and it's funny how they all have their masks on. So this is a Rage coaster, really good stats. 226 feet, so I was wrong, not 300 feet, but still a really nice coaster. And let's go ahead and take a ride on the coaster. All right, Matty. So we just got off. Was it a Maritasu? Yeah, we'll say it's
We're
a
going with it.
Maritasu.
Yeah, it sounds good to me. It sounds roughly right.
So what are your thoughts, Matty?
Um, Earlier on in the spotlight, I said it would be very difficult for me to choose a favourite. I think I've just found it. I
Mm-hmm.
think that was my favourite ride of the park so far. I think it was absolutely brilliant. That massively long banking right-hander there that you were just hovering over as it went round. That was
Yeah,
amazing.
amazing.
But I do have an important question for you, though, Michael.
Okay.
So
Okay.
some of the bits in that, were they floaters?
Yes, this was all more floater airtime.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So I now know what a floater is. Thank you for educating me on what floaters are.
So that's
But no.
floater. This
Sorry,
would
go on.
be more. This one would be considered more ejector airtime because it's small and quick,
Ah,
and
okay.
you're gonna get thrown out of your seat, and then basically by the time before you really get thrown out of your seat, the coaster's already coming back down. So it just kind of ejects you out
Got yeah.
instead of more kind of smooth floating. But yeah, I agree with you. This is I mean, I just love hyper coasters in real life. They're my favorite coaster type. And this is super well done, super smooth. That helix right here, like you talked about, was just it went on forever. It felt like, and it was amazing. And then you've got another kind of smaller one here. And did you notice anything custom on this coaster by any chance?
Is it? It's not custom supported,
Yeah, it is
surely.
right here. These
Are
are all
you
custom supports.
serious?
Yeah,
What, the whole thing? No.
yeah.
Wow.
That's all
Go
custom supported.
figure.
And then also it's got a custom spine because that's one thing you see now with these coasters is they've got this spine on it, which allows you to have less supports throughout the lift hill, as it adds structural support to it. So that whole thing is made out of, and this because I did this on my Fury style coaster that I just made on my park. And oh wait, hold on, wait, am I lying? That's not actually
No, that's part of the ride.
that's part of the ride. Oh, you know what? He hold on. No, he did what he did last time. Remember last time
Oh, I
he
remember
used
when
the
he used the wooden coaster and the metallic one and did the different chain lift, didn't he, with it?
so what he did is instead of actually creating the spine, he literally used the Basilisk coaster track, which is the single rail coaster. Um, and so he just had it match because he wanted the certain supports last time, right? So he's now taken, let's see. So he's colored it the same, has it going the exact same as that other track, but it kind of created that extra structural support. Like that
This
is,
guy is an absolute genius.
yeah,
He is an
and that's
absolute genius. He is so clever.
that's a lot quicker than placing 400 little squares. um,
Yeah.
yeah, my only suggestion for this, and I'm trying to get better at this too, from a coaster building standpoint, is working on the top crest here. Because it kind of normally hyper coasters kind of crest the top of the hill pretty quick, and this is almost like a little bit too gradual, and it's not necessarily super smooth, but it's not anything you necessarily notice on the ride. You just kind of notice looking at it right there. But you know, I'm not perfect at that either, so that's just my something I pointed out because I'm trying to look at images of coaster drops and stuff sometimes too to kind of make sure if what I'm building looks similar, right? All right, so I think we just have one more coaster to look at, and I mean, once again, this area is just really, really well done. I know this is probably your favorite area of the park.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. It is, but that's not to detract from the other areas as well, because all three areas were equally as good. It's just that my personal preference and taste means that this is my favourite, but all three are amazing.
uh,
All three given such love and care and treated with such respect.
mm-hmm. Shishi Kami. What,
Shishkami, I think. Shishkami?
Shishkami? Okay, we'll call it that. One thing that I
We'll go
do
with that.
love that this creator does is now then fella really like you talked about with you know that previous coaster on that previous park we looked at, like he's really trying to be very creative with having these supports and stuff, you know.
Hmm.
Like as we kind of look at this coaster real quick, you can see this area is custom supported by these scaffolding pieces, right? And so it's trying to kind of add that realism sense of okay, how could you have custom supported, or how could I make a cool kind of custom support here? Um, and I love the coloring of this coaster.
Yeah.
Kind of a different station. Um, ooh, that's kind of gives off a cool kind of lighting.
I bet. Can we have a look at this at night? Just this one station,
Yeah,
please. I bet that
absolutely.
gives a inside as well, because I bet that gives a really beautiful lighting
Mm-hmm.
inside and out.
Let's see.
Yeah, it's quite green tint. Yeah, it's quite nice inside. Just like kind
Mm-hmm.
of quite tactful. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I wonder if this might be a night coaster to ride. I think so. Just with how much lighting there is, it looks like there's a
Yeah, it
lot
seems
of.
to be like a lot more lighting around this coaster than any other, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. So we'll take a ride on this coaster at night, and let's have a quick look at the stats.
Wow,
95-foot
nice.
drop. So once again, all green stats are great. Um, to me, I like looking at stats, but it's about the realism sense, and everything we've seen has been pretty darn realistic so far. So stats great and realism great means a perfect coaster. So all right, let's take a ride on the coaster. All right, Maddie. I know you started the last kind of explanation off saying that you found your new favorite ride in the park, and I love hyper coasters. They are my favorite coaster type. I also love RMCs, and this one might be my favorite in the park because this is an inversion that you don't have on any type of RMC, but it's also not unrealistic because I think they are going to do something like that at some point. And then just the smoothness of the coaster and the little airtime hills and the lighting, I think that's probably my favorite one in the park.
I can see why. I'm certainly not going to dispute that fact or argue that that would be your favourite of the park. It's just a fantastic ride once again, isn't
Mm-hmm.
it? The what he's done in this park, every single ride is just such a high quality that any ride could be somebody's favourite in the park because they're all of such a good quality. Super smooth once again. Yeah, amazing. Loved it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, the only thing I'd say, and this is just hard to do with the lighting. I visually am not a big fan of seeing those big lights like being visible like that, but at the end of the day, it's like you can't really put them anywhere else to give that kind of effect, right? Um,
Not that kind of effect, no.
yeah, and so, but I do love the custom supports here, and I love the lighting on on this coaster here. So as we kind of look at the overview of night, that's very pink. Um, but look at the western area; that is lit up really nice. Oh, and then that's
The
lit up
whole
red.
park's lit up really well, if honest. The whole park is just all lit up sensationally.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, that being lit up red is kind of like gives off like an evil kind of vibe to it, like something bad's about to happen. um, oh man, then you got orange as well. Like that looks really cool with that orange kind of coaster track to begin with.
Yeah, it does. Like, because it was already kind of like gold anyway, wasn't it? So it just kind of
Mm-hmm.
gives that almost flame effect now, like flame gold
Yeah.
effect.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah,
really
brilliant.
weird. It's like right in this part, it almost looks like it's becoming day now because it's
I
like
saw that. I
what?
wondered if that was a bit of a glitch in the screen share, but no, that's really bizarre.
Whoop whoop whoop.
How odd is that? Anyway, Michael. You know it's coming. You know it's coming. Three-word park review.
Fantastic coaster designs.
Wow, you did that quick. You actually took my breath away. You actually made me cough, and I never cough in spotlights ever.
I feel
You
like
were
I
that
probably
quick
have
off the
used.
mark. You actually choked me.
I feel like it's probably cheating because I think I've used that one before. That is so weird.
That is proper bizarre, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, we just found a glitch. But yeah, I mean it's phenomenal. Love the coaster designs. Like, I mean, there's only like a few things I nitpicked at. What about for you?
I've got it in my mind, but I'm just trying to word it into 3 words because I know exactly what it is that I want to say. I'm just trying to get it into three. So it would be like kind of amazing building progression. So
Yeah.
obviously alluding to the fact that this is now the second park that we have done together for your channel, and for me personally, this is head and shoulders above the last park, and that says a lot given the fact of how much we liked the last park.
Yeah.
I think that's a testament to how strong this park is because we were both saying in that last spotlight, wow, this is an impressive park. This is one of the best we've seen on the console. So for me to think that this one is so much better than that one, I think that speaks volumes of what I think of this park. I think it's amazing, sensational, and I cannot wait to see what he does next. I want to see an Explorer British, like kind of where we've got like kind of an old British section or something, and
Hmm.
like all the animatronics sat drinking tea.
Yep. I do have a couple things that I want to say because I do agree. I think this is an amazing park, and I think I mentioned it before too. One thing that I would like to see on an upcoming park would be, um, because of how good Now Then Fella is with coasters. I would love to see him start to incorporate some backstage stuff with it. Um, just because I would love to see kind of how he approaches that and what he builds, because I don't feel like there's enough of that on console, and I'm sure a lot of it is like people are still new playing this game, and we do have a build limit, so some people don't necessarily want to
Is
waste.
there? We have a build limit. Dude,
Yeah,
somebody should have told me that before.
yeah. Even though we'll disagree on the build limit, but yeah. Uh, no, and then yeah. So I would like to see kind of how he would approach doing like a transfer track and some maintenance areas and stuff. And then one other thing too is like I know it's called Explorland Spain, but like it didn't really feel like Spain at all. So to me, like with that first park or I just feel like it'd almost be like a more overall generic name that would kind of encompass everything. Like maybe if the next one, if you did like a British area and did some other like a German area again or something, call it like Explorland Europe or something like that, you know? Um, that's my only nitpicking. But
It could be like this should be like kind of Explorerland Continental.
yeah. Oh, that'd be a good name for it. Yeah. Because I mean, because you got an Asian section, we got like a very Hispanic section, which almost feels like Mexico or like the southern United States, like maybe part of Texas or Arizona type of thing. And then we have this kind of, like you said, almost like Morocco type vibe. Um, and so, yeah, I mean, it's very three distinct areas in different continents. But I mean, they all really tied together well, and it was just a beautiful park.
Agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, agree.
Well, any other closing words, Maddie?
I would just like to say thank you ever so much for having me along once again. I love these joint spotlights. I have
Me too, man.
such a good time doing them, and I think the more we're doing them, the more we're getting to know each other as like kind of time has gone on. I find that these spotlights are getting easier to do. The two of us as well. I think we're able to bounce off each other quite well,
Hmm.
and they're just an absolute pleasure to be on. I have such a good time doing them, and I think we need to book in one for my channel as well because it's been a while
Absolutely.
since you've appeared on my channel. So
Yeah,
we'll have to do it.
definitely. Definitely for sure. And so, guys, make sure to go check out Maddie's channel as always, for the most famous YouTuber in my eyes. Just remember, hey, fame is in the eye of the beholder, right, Maddie?
Oh, that's what he says. I was going, to,
So,
mate. You need glasses.
hey, fame's in the eye of the beholder. So, no, I'm just kidding. No, Matt, I mean, you were very helpful, when Jasmine and I were getting our channel started too and stuff. So we always appreciate and love how we've gotten to know you and Chrissy kind of as we've all been doing this. And so, yeah, I mean, look forward to doing a spotlight on your channel, and make sure to go download this on the workshop, guys. And everybody have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks, Maddie.
Bye, everybody.